So in this video we're going to learn how to graph the basic sine function over an interval of negative 360 to 360 degrees. So down here I have negative 360 and up here I have 360 degrees positive. So how do we go about graphing something like this? Well, as you can see over to my right hand side here I have a table incomplete of values, in which I'm just going to fill in the points. I'm just going to take my calculator and evaluate the values of sine at various degrees. And you'll notice that the degrees I've chosen, 0, 30, 60, 90, 180, 270, they might be familiar to you because they are actually the angles from the special triangles. So let's go ahead and start filling this in. I'm going to zoom in here. So sine of 0, that's quite clearly 0. Sine of 30, now if you remember your triangle, the 60, 30, 90 triangle. So this is 30, this is 60. And here I'm going to have 1, I'm going to have root 2, sorry. I'm going to have here 2. And here I'm going to have root 3. And let me just move this off to the side a little bit. Okay, so sine of 30 is going to be 1 over 2, or just 0.5. Sine of 60 is going to be root 3 over 2, which, if you do that in your calculator, give me one sec here, and I'll pull up my calculator. And you should probably be doing the same. If I do root 3 divided by 2, I get 0.866. So I'll just move this over here. So 0.86, yeah, I'll just leave it at 1. Sine of 90, we know that to be 1. Sine of 180 is going to be 0. 270 is going to be negative 1, and 360 will be 0. Okay, so I have all my points over here, and my next job is to graph them on my my grid here. So I'm just going to go with a slightly larger point. Let's pick that one there. So sine of 0 is 0, so I'm just going to put a point over there at 0. Sine of 30 is 0.5, so 30 is one block. 0.5 is going to be roughly here. Sine of 60 is 2 blocks, 0.86, so that's roughly here. Sine of 90 is 1, 180 is 0, 270 is negative 1, and 360 is back at 0. Let me just erase these greens over here. Now, we've kind of, skipped everything that is, in between here, over here, and over here. And you can go ahead if you like and enter in the values of like sine of 120, 150, 210, what do we have? 250, 240. Anyway, you can keep on going, but I'm going to just save you the time and graph this out, because what you end up getting is, let me zoom in over here, a nice smooth curve that goes up to the top, then starts coming down, goes down to the bottom at negative 1, and then comes right back up. And let me zoom out here once again. And that's your sine curve. One period. And I say one period because it repeats itself going backwards. In other words, from 0 back to negative 360. And I'll let you, if you like, to fill in the table of values. But in order to save time here, let me put in the points. So when sine of negative 90, we get negative 1. Sine of negative 180, we get 0. Sine of negative 270, we get positive 1. And sine of 360, we get 0 again. Again, if you want to confirm that for yourself, plug it into a calculator and you'll find that you get the exact same values. So once again, I'm going to zoom in here and just fill out the rest of this graph here. It's going to go down and then up and then back down again. Yeah, I don't like that. It's a bit too thick. Let's try with this guy here. So down. Ooh, not good. Let me start from this end. Up. Down. A bit crooked, but that's fine. And there we go. So there is your sine function graphed over 2 periods, and I think you can see why that would be the case, because if I draw like just like a line down here, here's 1 period and here's another one. And by the way, the cool thing about sinusoidal functions is that the periods repeat. In other words, once you have one, you can think of doing the rest of them just by extending it on, and obviously I'm going off the graph here, but you get the idea. And I can go the other way as well. I can go over here. And it keeps going and going, so technically you can even put on a, arrow to go at the end. Anyway, that represents our sine function, and next we're going to look at some of the properties.